So what makes a language a language? Now, what do I mean by this? That's a pretty weird question, right? Well, to illustrate what I mean by that, let's talk about the former European country of Yugoslavia. The primary language of Yugoslavia was Serbo-Croatian, which doesn't really exist anymore in any official capacity. It is instead split into four languages, which are Bosnian, Montenegrin, Croatian, and Serbian. So what's the deal? How can one language just all of a sudden become four? Does that mean that these were all different languages to begin with, grouped into just one language, or did they just rapidly evolve for some reason? Well, the answer actually has to do more with identity more than anything else. Since these countries are now all separate from each other and have their own sense of community and pride, they want their own language too. But that doesn't mean that these languages are completely different from each other. They're actually all mutually intelligible with each other. Kind of like how Spanish and Italian speakers might be able to understand each other a little bit. It's just a lot stronger. It's actually more similar to dialects of English than anything else. This is a great example of the linguistic principle of dialect continuums. A dialect continuum is usually an area or region over which you can see a language just slowly starting to shift and becoming more different from where you started on the other end. Think of it as sort of like a gradient. And this is very prevalent in Europe with like the Romance languages and the Germanic languages. And the Arabic world is actually kind of a stark contrast to this. The dialects of Arabic can be very different from each other, and the further you get away from your home country, the harder it would be to understand the local dialect, and that's why Standard Arabic exists. So even though all of these local dialects could be considered different languages, because their sense of community and identity with each other is so strong, it's just considered one language, and you have the standard variety, and then you just have the local variety, just different dialects basically. And this just goes to show how important languages are to identity and people, and why it's always important for us to encourage language preservation and encourage people to speak their languages and teach people about a language, because languages are super important. This also, however, shows how languages can be suppressed if they're considered like not a real language or just considered like a low dialect of a language or something. So yeah, that's why this is a very important and very real topic. Languages are always valid and it's always important. We're never dumb for speaking a certain way. All languages are valid.